dementia researcher with a blog and a rating.
Working on the road, the benefits of travelling to meet participants. As a psychology researcher, you will encounter many different projects, each with its own unique aspect of research design and study procedures. My current job requires spending a significant amount of time in my car, travelling long distances of up to 80 miles to meet participants. I visit dementia patients in their homes and frequently work with remarkable individuals who generously dedicate their bodies, time, and energy to advancing research. One advantage of spending long hours in the car at different times of the day is the sunsets and sunrises. There is nothing more rewarding than witnessing beautiful pink clouds and the sun beginning to come up over the horizon. I love driving and watching the prospect of a new day unfold in front of my eyes. Conversely, the sunsets I encounter are equally as fascinating. While it can be hard working late, the incentive of viewing another breathtaking cycle of the clouds transforming their colours is enough to keep me motivated. Additionally, some routes I take are incredibly scenic, and I would always choose the countryside option as opposed to miles of concrete on the A1. The sun rises and sets at differing times throughout the year, thanks to daylight saving time, which, in my opinion as a sleep researcher, is inherently pointless. Asking your body clock to randomly go back or forward by an hour is bad for your health and impacts mood. However, I do marginally benefit from the clocks changing, as it means the stars are visible much earlier in the evening. The stars provide me with an equally captivating view when travelling at night. The final phenomenon I look for to keep my spirits high is the moon. It can be visible during the morning or evening, depending on the current stage of its cycle, and I am always pleasantly surprised when I spot it along my driving journey. Long drives are certainly more enjoyable when you have captivating things to observe. But, of course, the typical UK weather results in there being some days full of rainy, grey overcast, where nothing magical about the world is visible. Thinking about the inside environment of my car, I try to make the interior a positive space to spend time in. Listening to music is a great way to improve temperament, concentration, and reduce stress. I am conscious about arriving at work in a good mental state. Subsequently, I can then provide the best standard of care, make the participants as comfortable as possible, and collect high-quality data. If I know I am heading to a challenging patient, I ensure I listen to a playlist of my favourite songs so I can arrive at their house in the best frame of mind possible. Of course, the added benefit of driving alone is that no one can judge you for showcasing your best singing voice. Podcasts are also highly beneficial. There are podcasts available discussing just about any topic you can think of, and they are great at improving mental health and active listening skills. My go-to topics are psychology, neurodegeneration, and positivity. If you are someone who drives a lot for work, you could consider listening to the audio recording of dementia researcher blogs. I have travelled from the northeast to places like Middlesbrough and Cumbria. Each drive has its own route and therefore certain landmarks that you get to observe along the way. Driving past the Angel of the North is always spectacular. The sculpture is incredible in size, standing at 20 metres tall, and represents coal mining history. One of my patients was actually involved in the engineering of the statue. They had a giant picture of the angel in their living room, and after conversing about it, they told me how they helped build the materials. This is another reason why communicating with your patients or research participants is vitally important. You never know who you are talking to and the stories they may have to share. I also travelled to Sunderland, which allowed me to see Penshaw Monument, a stunning replica of a Greek temple. Not only am I lucky enough to see such historic features whilst on the road, I also chance upon a large array of wildlife. It would be almost impossible for me to go an entire car journey and not see a bird. Depending on my time of travel, I see crows, blackbirds, starlings, and I was even lucky enough to encounter an owl once. Bird watching is popular amongst older generations, and most of them are delighted to show me the new bird feeder they put up in their garden. I was once sat in a patient's living room administering questionnaires when a starling landed on their window bird feeder. I was absolutely amazed to see it so close. I've also seen my fair share of pheasants along the way and stumbled across many fields of horses. After visiting my patients, I thoroughly enjoy stopping the car and getting out to stretch my legs and see these magnificent creatures. You can imagine my delight when I recently arrived at a patient's home to find out they lived on a farm. I was able to meet their chickens, hens, and cows. Demonstrating my enthusiasm for their home life helped develop a great rapport between myself and the participants. It's essential when working within home settings with limited capacity patients to establish a good affinity with one another. The greatest advantage of travelling frequently is the driving experience gained. Well, I say it's the greatest. Deep down, I think the best part is being in the comfort of my own car, accompanied by a beverage and having my hot water bottle on my lap without judgment during winter months. I've experienced working in all types of weather during dawn, dusk, and twilight, and with each environment change comes its own challenge. Driving in the morning gives you time management experience as you must navigate the morning traffic. It also increases your decision-making when following diversions or roadworks. Travelling at night helps you become a more responsible and attentive driver. Everything looks different in the dark, and extra precautions must be taken to ensure I arrive at my patient's house safely. As with any aspect of life, being on the road regularly does have its disadvantages. Driving is dangerous due to the lack of control you have over other people's actions. It only takes one small mistake to cause a crash. But by staying vigilant and being a cautious driver, you can minimize these risks. Commuting long distances as a lone worker can feel isolating at times. This is another reason why it is so important to have in-depth and enthralling conversations with my patients, so that I don't feel lonely when working far from home. My least favourite part of driving is seeing roadkill. I hate encountering deceased animals, and with each one I see, I can only hope that their suffering was quick and painless. Overall, I couldn't work in my current role without a car. Accessing patients who live in remote areas would be unachievable using public transport. Managing my safety and well-being when travelling is very important. If you are a researcher, you must spend long periods commuting, implementing things like music, podcasts, and soaking up nature-filled views is a great way to stay mentally motivated. I advise that you consider the rewards you are gaining from completing your work duties and avoid focusing on the negatives. Personally, the downsides of driving are outweighed. I know I am supporting exceptional people contribute to research and helping to advance developments in earlier diagnosis and care for dementia patients.
Thank you for listening. Join the dementia research bloggers and share your own views.